Here we go. Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and today I get to interview Joel. So Joel, welcome, man.
Hi, Kendrick. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, so Joel, thanks for coming. Can you tell us your full type, please?
Yeah, Kendrick. It's ENTP Ne-Fe play, blast, consume, sleep. So it's like with that probability bath salts, and it's like double feminine. What do we got? I think that's everything, right?
Yeah. Do you know your social type, by the way?
Well, okay. So it was like a maybe a one, maybe two, but I'll be honest, I don't know. So I'll go with 1.5. I'm going for four, but probably somewhere between one and two. It's probably one, maybe. I don't know, but
All right. Well,
yeah,
maybe we can you know, hash it out during the interview. Um,
maybe.
yeah, maybe. All right, cool, man. So let's I want to talk about the most interesting thing about you is in the community, you're the only ENTP with Savior Blast. That is like that is
What is that?
insane. That is insane. You are literally like the only one. Like I've been doing this
Ah,
interview for 4 years now, and you are the first one with Savior Blast.
actually, I think there's another one, and I think it's the other Joel B, which is crazy.
Wait, did I? Is that someone I interviewed before?
It is. Yes, you interviewed me.
Yes, Savior
Yes,
Blast. Man,
it's
I'm losing
the
track of that.
exact. He's the exact same type.
Okay,
Yep. I was thinking you could get us in the room. Maybe we fight it out, and we see who wins.
okay, I'll look it
I don't
up
know.
later. I'll look it up later.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with your first animal, man. So this is the super interesting one for most people because it's like one of those ones that's kind of hard to figure out, like what's happening. So NF play, like what's yours is double activated NF play. What's going on there for you, man? Like what how do you use it and how do you experience it?
Dude, I don't use it. It uses me. It's like I am its bitch all the time. There's nothing I can do about it. People are like, please turn this shit off. I'm like, please turn this shit off. It's oppressive. It's yeah, it's real mean. It's not unforgiving, and I have to constantly find these associations. And I the FE was something that I wasn't really aware of. It wasn't something that I ever thought of. Don't really see myself as really getting other people's feelings too often, but when it comes down to prioritizing and stuff, I can see it. So, um, it's I guess it's masculine and feminine, correct?
Yeah, it's in the middle, so it's like a hybrid.
It's yeah, it's like a hybrid. So I guess it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's not too pushy on people, but it's like, hey guys, look at this. Hey guys, look at this. Hey guys, look at this. And it's like it's like a yapping dog.
Right. Um,
So yeah, I just did it. I just freaking did it.
yeah, because I have NT play, which I think is quite easy to understand. The NF play is more tricky. So
Well,
when you
maybe you could ask me other things, and maybe I can maybe draw me in a little bit more, and I
yeah,
can.
yeah, I'll ask you like the different dimensions of it and see how you if you how you
Yeah.
see experience it, right? So let's talk about the NF back and forth with people. So because it's NF, it's meaning and purpose. So do you find meaning and purpose when you do collaborations with others? Or like when you talk to people about like, hey, what are you up to? What are you passionate about? You know, is that the kind of conversation you like to have with people?
Yes. It's something that I have to do, and I said suppressive, but it's like I'm constantly seeking the value in the things that, and I'm play right now, so it's like it's just coming to me as we're talking. So I don't know. I could be full of shit right now and not even know it, but it's it's kind of like as I'm going, as we're discussing the whatever it. Gosh, I'm having trouble putting my finger on it like in this moment, but it's you said what's the question again, man? I'm
It's
sorry.
it's like a two-part question. So the first part is the NF aspect of it, where do you gain do you feel like you get meaning and purpose by collaborating with others? You know, doing like group related activities.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So yeah, the experiences that I have really only matter when they're with people. Otherwise, they don't really matter. My purpose is like whatever. It's kind of confusing and nebulous. But there is a greater purpose that I sense when I'm working with people. I have a desire, a hunger to work with other people in something that is meaningful. And when it's not, I try to find meaning, and I try to get other people on board with it. Uh, so we can try and, we want to, I want to explore it with other people.
Right. So when you're having discussions with people, is that kind of what you want to flush out also? Is like trying to understand the other person's what they're up to, what's purposeful for them, and there's no judgment because it's in a play state. It's more like you're trying to ping off the tribe, get the whole picture of like, let's say all the different friends that you have or acquaintances, and what they're up to and what drives them to pursue what they're pursuing. But it's because it's play, it's not like consume or blast. It's more like
No,
a back and forth kind of state.
it is. It's like a give and take, but I don't really think that I am totally getting as much from the other person when it comes to like what they're valuing. It's almost one-sided in a way. It's kind of like people, like we're like a sounding board, but at the same time, it's gosh, it is, that is something hard to tack down. It's really hard for me to tack that down. I don't know that I am so much getting something from the other person as much as I am like hearing it reverberate back to me. Does that am I getting what you're asking me?
So you're not absorbing that then because maybe a demon consume?
Okay, I think that absorption is exactly what I'm doing when I'm consuming. I don't think I'm consuming, but I think I'm absorbing that. So yeah, the any is absorbing.
Okay. So you're doing the ping pong, but there's the absorption thing is kind of more on a shallow level because it's play. It's
Yes,
I see. Okay.
it's shallow. I think it's okay. I think it's shallow only as far as the DE goes. You know, it's kind of that's kind of shallow, to be honest with you. But
Right.
but it's all in service of the self. You know.
Okay. So do you have an example of like you'll do the NF play thing? How does it service self? Like what do you get out of it when you're doing that NF play with people?
I feel like what I'm doing is when we're all discussing things, I feel like we're coming to an agreement. Like we're trying to come to an agreement about the truth of something, and it's almost like a futile exercise because we're all speaking different languages.
Right.
And I'm understanding half of what the questions you're asking me, even though we're pretty close.
Yeah.
But we're both sort of trying to take little bits, what I mean, from each other, and what does that, assimilate them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we both have NE and SI, so we speak that same language, but then the other stuff is a different language, right? So we definitely have we only have 50% linkage for communication.
50%.
Which is
But
so
that NE holds up a lot.
was that?
I said, but the NE part is pretty strong right there.
Right, 100%. But I also noticed though when I talk to ENTPs that I can see your perspective. Like for example, when I watch Jordan Peterson stuff, like I can see his perspective. I can't do the TI and the FE, but I can see where he's coming from, So with that being said though, let's go with the NF side of things. So NF's a tricky topic to talk about because it's like very, David Chan likes to call it woo-woo. A lot of people that has NF last, they don't believe it exists unless they do drugs. So I have it third, so I do believe it's real, but like I don't go overboard with it. Like I know the useful parts of NF and the part where it's like, yeah, you're going too crazy with that. However, you're double activated NF and you're ST last. So NF and ST are the two opposite coins essentially. So where have you seen in yourself where you might be going a little bit too much on the NF and not enough on the ST as a result of that like slight imbalance because of your animal stack?
Dude, I would say it's mostly in my interaction. So my interactions with people on just the play is all NF. And ST is kind of like, it's the thing I got to do. It's really just the thing I got to do, you know, and I do it every day. I do it a lot. Like the ST is most of what I do in my line of work and in my day to day. I have tried my best, you know, to try and master that thing, but it is so, it just like, I can't quite grab it. And it's the opposite for me, you know, the NF is something that I can actually kind of get my hands around,
Right.
but the ST, it just kind of fades, just goes away. Like it's like fucking poof. You know, I cannot hold on to it. I cannot hold on to the sensory, and it's very very hard. It's very hard when everyone else, when not everyone else around me, but you know, everything is based on it. You know, everything is based on it. But you know, we could argue that that might not have been the first thing. NF might have actually been first. I mean, who's to say? Maybe ST exists because NF exists.
I think they exist together, you know,
Maybe.
just like NT and SF. Like you need like a balance of both. Um, you have masculine NE though, so that's like the big difference between us is your masculine NE versus my masculine SI, right? And then vice versa. Um, when you gather concepts and patterns, can you share what that feeling of confidence is because it's a masculine function when you are gathering those, and also when you're sharing that with other people, that this is in fact what the pattern that you've gathered, or in fact what the concept that you've gathered?
Um, well, so my confidence level on how I'm able to explain my consume, am I understanding that right? Am
Your
I able to
NE,
class?
your NE specifically, because that's your consume and play. So you're either gathering from the tribe or gathering on your own time for yourself, right? So either or, either application. Um, when it's time to either use it to make a decision for yourself or use it to communicate to the tribe, can you describe that confidence that you have when sharing, either using it as utility for self or explaining to the tribe that the pattern that you've gathered is in fact like the best one, you know, and it's in fact very very useful, you know. You're
Okay.
shoving it to people. Yeah, go ahead.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now that would mean that my blast would need to be strong for me to be able to shove it on people, right? But my blast is double feminine.
Right.
So it comes out as like mud sometimes when I'm actually trying to bring it out. It like right now, it's messed up. So like I think sometimes, you know, maybe blast is not as high as was reported.
Right.
It might be, but because it's double feminine, I have a little bit of trouble with it. And there's a lot of times. Well, I am always using I am always speaking in end. Like I can't help it. It is seriously, ever it's ever permeating, and no matter what I try to do, it's there. So it's not like I can't say that I do it sometimes, or explain how I do it, because it's like it's just so imbalanced. I'm trying in this point to find a way to maybe get a little bit more solid, you know,
Right.
and stop throwing at people all these patterns, because I do throw them at people. I'm like, well, duh. I mean, of course this is what happens, and people are looking at me like what? I look at it like this, man. I see sensory and SI, see both of them as like being laying in the grass, right? You're feeling the blades of grass. You know, you're feeling them between your fingers, and and you know, the other ones, it's like you're kind of like staring up at the sky, or you're on the swing or something. You know, it's not you're not quite on the same level as everyone. And you know, I think about things in those ways, and I can only imagine that people with the sensory are really actually like, I think that this is totally different, dude. Like totally different. Like actually being aware of these things, it blows my mind. I think the only way to for me or I should say, for someone like me to be able to absorb the sensory would be to be in an altered state. That's all I'm going to say.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, so let's talk about your blasts. We're already on that topic. By the way, I did look it up that your type twin is in fact play blast. So
Same name, almost
same,
the same.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I was like, how did I forget he was a play blast? I thought he was play consume for some reason. Anyways, I want to ask you about your
I might be that too. Who knows?
what's that?
I might even be that. Who knows? I don't know. We'll
So
see.
your blast, as you mentioned, is double feminine. It's SF, which is very interesting. SF blast, I think, is very easy to see. I think that's like one of the easiest animals actually to see. Um, yours is double feminine though, so yours is not aggressive. Your SF blast is actually very, very friendly, very gentle. Um, so let's cover all the different dimensions of that SF blast. The first part is correcting the tribe's behavior. Okay. Yours is double feminine, so it's not gonna come across aggressive at all. It's gonna sound like a friendly nudge, you know. Do
Mm-hmm.
you see yourself when someone is acting inappropriate in a tribe setting? Do you see yourself giving them like it's just a tiny nudge, like, hey, you know, might want to dial that down a little bit. You know, some people are, you know, getting a little bit uncomfortable. It's a little bit awkward, you know, ruining the vibe a little bit. But like, how do you see yourself using that SF blast to correct tribe behavior?
Okay, I do it, but people kind of just laugh at it.
Okay, it's a
So
fart.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's kind of a joke. Like I've been, yeah, it's kind of it's very soft, but at times if it's just one on one, if I'm one on one with a person, I might be a little bit more sharp, but I'm more aware of if there's other people around, I don't want to, hurt anyone's feelings. I'm aware of that. I think, I'm aware that I don't want to, put that on someone. So I get a little bit, I'm a little bit soft.
And because it's also SF in a blast form, it's there's also another way that it manifests, which is kind of just giving advice on how someone can look good. Because there's the SI aspect of it, right? Because that's that how to organize your appearance essentially. I know your SI is feminine, but so there's that aspect of it too, because you're teaching the tribe essentially how to best present yourself, you know?
God, I want to explore this with you because I don't do that.
Okay.
I don't do that. I have opinions about what looks good. I have very strong opinions about what looks good, but I won't share them. Like, let's just say this. Let's say I walk into someone's house. I have definitely have opinions about the way they have things laid out,
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that works, that doesn't work, that works, that doesn't work. And so like I can see things on that in that way, but I will not say anything. It's just not my place. Like I'll tell you this one. So if I'm gonna go, if my wife says, okay, we're gonna go to we got to offer up, right? Or the Facebook marketplace, or those things, right? So we're gonna go get a table, right? If I walk in someone's house and they got a table, I'm gonna take it. I don't care if I like it. I don't care if it's got, cat crap on it or something. I'm gonna end up taking it because I don't want to say anything bad. And I feel bad like rejecting someone in their own house. It's totally insane and crazy. But I think that that's how I would that's how I guess I could relate to that. Do you think that kind of falls in line with what you're describing?
Not quite, but I do get what you're saying about you're not gonna say anything, especially because of that double feminine animal there. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could use it from an interior design standpoint too, like making a critique on like how someone organizes their their home and how to make it like nicer or feel better to be in that space, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, you are an observer, so I guess you're gonna be obsessed more with the thing than the person. You know, so you might look at
Yes,
the
that's
you might
very true.
yeah, you might look at the surrounding instead of like the person and their like fashion sense because you might not care. You might care more about like the aesthetics of the room, you know?
I'll get lost. I'll get lost in that stuff. Like I will get lost in my sensory very quickly. I'll just start grabbing. I don't like to start picking things up like all their stuff, but I will get obsessed with things and just start talking about them and people are like, All right, all right. We moved on. We're in the other room now, dude. Why
Right.
are you still talking about the toilet? Okay.
Yeah, I guess us with SI were weird with weird with things, right? So yeah, it's um all right. So part of Blast is also getting started. For that aspect, that's kind of universal for everyone that has Savior Blast. Can you talk about the ease of just starting, like not overly thinking about it and just let's just do it. Let's just start. Whatever it is that we're up to. You want to go buy something on the Facebook marketplace. Let's read real quick. Obviously, still info dominant. Got the information. What's there to think about? Let's just jump in, or you got a project you want to work on, get the bare minimum consumed, execute, like what can you
Okay,
share that ease with that, or at least being able to do it.
dude, dude. Okay, it is completely different when I'm at home and when I'm at work. Whole different animals.
Okay.
At work, at work, I'm a blast. Like, come on. Then once I am home, I she does it. She does it. So it's like I am not doing it anymore. Like she takes that role. She takes that role here, and it's funny. Like I'm pretty sure I don't know what her type is, but I think that has a big influence, a bigger influence probably than people want to give it credit about how it on how all these animals are showing in different periods of your day or your life. Like at home with your spouse or with your friends. Everyone is kind of jockeying for different positions. And so outside at work, it's like go getting, and here, when I'm here, it is a much slower consume or sleep or whatever it is process. I can't tell sometimes between the two. But it is a lot of, hey, do we get the dimensions? Let me see the dimensions, and then I'm getting the tape measure out, and I'm delivering the bad news if it's going to fit or not going to fit. Hey, this thing ain't going to fit. It's too big, it's going to stick out past the door, and then it's going to end up being that we may get it, we may not, after all, but we may just change everything in the house to make that one thing fit.
Oh, that makes sense because your house is personal. You don't care when you're out in public, so you just go crazy with the blast there.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, because you're more meticulous when it's yours. It's your home. It's a private space, and you're more meticulous. Your work, who cares?
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna be there all day. I mean, you are, but it's not yours. So it's
Yeah. There's still a lot of, but there is a lot of like unseen factoring out and figuring out of everything, and then yeah, the only time I'm really relying on other people a lot for a lot of the sensory side of it. It's like I'm blind. I'm just like, okay, you guide me, okay, you know.
that sounds like ST. We'll talk about that in the end. What
Yep,
you described, but
you're right. Yeah.
what about teaching your known information to the tribe? So that's part of SIFE, right? So SI is what you've organized in a
Hmm.
sensory matter. Step one, step two, step three, step four, and then teaching it to the tribe. So I'll give you an example. I like to use Peterson as an example because he's an ENTP that in his book, The 12 Rules for Life, clearly lays out like step by step how to do that step one, step two, step three, step four kind of deal. Like he'll talk about how to get a kid who's acting crazy to chill out and behave, right? Because it's SF, right? So it's behavioral related. So that's kind of like the blast is about. So he'll be like, step one, talk to a kid a certain way. Step two, wait for them to behave a certain way. Step three, there's like a step, right? Even that guy who they type in the class, who's an ISFJ, the hostage negotiator, he also has like step one,
Right.
step two, and it's all about manipulating the tribe's behavior, which is like this is a deadly animal. You have that SF blast. It's like really deadly. Like he literally tricks the terrorists to give up the hostage with no compensation. That is, and he'll use it to also to buy cars and stuff. You know, it is like the ultimate manipulator animal besides NF blast, obviously. So it's like it's so good if you know how to use it.
I may actually be using it at times when I don't know that I am.
I think that's what's happening for you. I feel
Yeah.
like that's what's happening. You're like unaware you're
How's
doing.
it? Hey, Kendrick, how's it working right now?
What's that?
I don't know. I wanted to see if it was working.
Okay,
Hey,
okay, gotcha. I wouldn't know because it's all like subtle, right? Like that's a tricky thing with SF Blast is like the person that you use it on didn't even know you use it on them. You know, it's like ninja. It's like a ninja animal. It's really
right.
BS.
I
But it
moved Australia over to Brazil, by the way, right behind you.
what's that? What?
Nothing.
Okay. Way to channel change to try to disrupt. But anyways,
Hey, dude, I gotta stop everyone from finding out the secrets of SF Blast.
yeah. Okay. Okay. I
We can't
will.
let anyone know about this stuff
I
because this is
will.
how we get cars. This is how we get the hostages out.
Right.
I
Right.
wish dude, I really wish I could have more control over it, man. I'm sorry, I'm making a joke.
It's
I
fine.
get a little bit, I get a little bit, I think I'm a little bit insecure about this one because, it's, I wish I had it. I wish I had it in a stronger place so I could get more done on a personal level. I have just projects that I've been working on for 10 years that are languishing. And I go through this weird shift where I'll do like 6 months of one thing and then 6 months of something else, and and it's really hard for me to get certain things off the ground, get people on board because of the imbalance that I was discussing. People, I can get people excited, a little bit, but to actually get some kind of you know to get some kind of movement is a little hard, and I don't really like to push people. I really don't. It's kind of a more of a, I guess it is more of like a coercive thing where you try and get someone to do the work for you, or not the work for you, but the what is it? What would that be? Would that be like it, it's like I can barely grasp it, man. I think it's like some kind of ADD thing that I've got going here. It's really hard for me to keep my brain going on this one thing that is not like written out in front of me.
Are you officially diagnosed with ADHD?
Uh, Dude, everyone I know thinks that I got something going on there.
I'm 100% sure you have one. I think everyone that has played Blast has it. I just got diagnosed this year. I got diagnosed when I'm a lot older,
Congratulations.
and then I was like, okay, well, I'm not surprised. I kind of knew it already. Um, but it's cool knowing it though, like knowing that information. Then you know how to navigate it with like newer tools that you didn't have before that wasn't
Yeah.
available. And so it definitely helps with the project stuff that you're talking about, like your personal projects. Um, but
I'm trying. I'm really trying. So the thing that I'm trying to do is ground myself and keep to a routine. As much as I really don't like routines in many ways because it feels restricting.
right.
And a personal routine, an internal personal routine is okay. The thing that's really just makes me insane is the external routines. So when there's like an external routine that's being imposed upon me, so I don't work in a field where I don't work in a field where there's someone watching me all the time, or I run a calendar based schedule with work. It's pretty much the same thing every month, but day to day it's different. So I'm able to get that, and I'm able to have a set up routine on a daily basis for myself that grounds me. And I guess that's the one good thing about that. And I know I'm totally off target right now. It's so hard for me to stay on task, man. You should have seen my freaking video I sent them. Oh my God.
It's all good, dude. It's all good. I can relate because I'm similar to your type. Well, with the SI at the bottom, it's definitely true. Like, Jocko Willing, the ESFP guy, discipline equals freedom. I do think for
Yeah.
us with the NE and SI at the bottom, any top SI at the bottom, I think routine equals freedom for sure. Like
Yeah.
it's 100%.
Well, it allows you, right? Because you're getting the routine out of the way so that you can actually have room for the you know what I mean? For
Yeah.
the chaotic freedom.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best way to look at it is I think like Joe Rogan and Jocko Willing had this conversation before, where uh Jocko told Joe Rogan that because he takes the time to research current events, because he takes the time to practice speaking, because he has the discipline to do all this stuff, then he has the freedom to go do his comedy on stage and have the freedom to have full self-expression, to jab other people and be the funniest person, when they're having those comedic either battles or presentations, right? So I think the freedom aspect for us is if we're disciplined to do all the stuff that is essentially mandatory to make us healthy, like let's say working out, eating healthy, getting enough sleep, having a mental health routine to de-stress, then we have the freedom to have the longevity to do whatever we want. So even if we're slacking off a little bit because we're easily distracted, the good news is we have more time to work in it because we have the discipline to keep the vessel going for longer, right? So
Right.
yeah, and also I think it's Dave that said this, but he's like huge into systems. He said if you're just relying on pure willpower to do stuff, it's not gonna work in the long term because it's just too hard, right? But then when something becomes a habit, then it becomes easier. So you have a little bit more freedom to use your willpower on something else when you've developed certain routines for yourself that is automatic. Even if you hate it, even if you freaking hate it. Like for example, I don't like going to the gym that much anymore, but I still do because it's like the right thing to do. So it's like I cannot not do it. So in a way, but it takes away like some of that mental stress that, hey, I have to go to the gym and work out when I know that it's automatic. Like there's like a gravitational pull that like magnetizes me towards the fitness center. You know what I mean? Did you freeze? I think you froze.
Oh no.
Oh no, did we lose the whole recording?
We did?
I don't know. I have no clue. Like the Zoom just stopped and then
Oh no.
I have
That's
no
okay.
clue.
Dude, mine was, it was just seriously, man. It was a train wreck anyway, what I was saying. I got so lost in many things. So I mean, I'm ready to start again if you want.
Oh geez, I don't know. Let's this has never happened to me before. Now I'm thrown off. Um
No way.
yeah, first time the Zoom like disappeared. I don't know if it
First times. Wow. I'm sorry.
yeah. You
But
know
at
what?
least we got to share this together, Kendrick.
It's still recording, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Let's just keep going and whatever. Um if it's screwed, did you freeze again?
No, I'm here, man. I'm just doing my best. You know, I'm just being a mannequin right now.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um
No,
And
I'm not
anyways,
gonna do
let's jump to the next topic, I guess. Let's go to the
that.
anti consume. Double masculine. You have double masculine anti consume. It's a demon,
Yeah.
but it's third. It's
Hey,
activated though.
I
It's your first two
okay.
functions.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like too much of a demon to me. I think that uh well, it's really weird. It feels like at times, okay. So when I think about consume, I keep thinking of sensory, and SE is the thing that I would love to have.
Right.
I would love to have it. Oh my God, I would love to have it because it would make life, you know, a lot easier. And so I've thought about it. I keep thinking about it in terms of consumption because the word. And then I've changed that in my mind. In fact, I thought of it today. I thought of that word. In fact, you said it was absorption, right?
Right.
And I think that NE is more absorption. You know what I'm saying? And so it is something that I do spend a lot of time. I do spend a lot of time doing research in things that I'm interested in. Now, where that is compared to sleep, I don't really know. It's hard for me to see the difference between the two sometimes. Um, but if we're talking about absorption, I do get some of it. So I can see certain things like certain types of trends, which are in some ways SF, right? I guess you could say that they'd be SF, but also NT, right? Other side, I guess. I don't know. But I do notice physical trends. I notice uh, some theoretical trends. I don't know exactly how to explain it, Uh, but when it comes down to, you know, I it's can you like help me out here with this? What have you seen from people that have NT double masculine as a basically a demon?
Before I answer that question, I want to channel change real quick. So
Oh,
I've
please.
interviewed other EPs that has demon consume, you know, um, and what they've told me, which is very interesting, they'll gather stuff, but they won't do anything with the stuff they gathered, you know. Um,
Oh,
so it's like, so for example, I interviewed this one girl, she's an ESFP. So she'll buy like all these art supplies. So she'll go painting and stuff, but she won't. So she has all these art supplies laying there, and she's gathered it, but she doesn't consume it. Like she'll consume it, once every like 6 months or something. Um, so it's like there's like the gathering, but the savoring aspect is not there. The savoring
oh,
aspect is not there.
I
So
don't savor anything. No. Yeah.
exactly. So it's harder to savor stuff when you're demon consume. I have demon consume like you do. So I do consume, but I do notice that those that have consume as a savior, they savor that thing that they consume. Like they really savor it. Even if it's like TISE, TINE, there's like either savoring that information, the intellectual information, or those with FI savoring that emotional impact that thing that you consume has on you. But the demons will absorb the information, but the savoring part seems to be on the lacking side. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it does, but it has to be something really impactful for you to really savor and absorb it. If it's like lukewarm, it doesn't go in as well as like something that's really intense. I don't know if that makes sense.
Dude, that's great. So there are certain, I think there's like certain movies, for example, that or songs where I will just really hunker down and try and fully understand and absorb. And I will take those things and they become like almost like a mantra. It becomes part of my philosophy, you know? And as far as savoring though, or anything like that, like there are very few things that I will do that with. Like I don't consume, I don't really, I'm not active in any way in social media hardly at all. I would like to be, but it doesn't catch. I can't seem to do it, you know, things like that. Like, and while that could also be SF, it's kind of hard for me sometimes when you get SF and NT. Those two
Right.
they seem so similar in many ways, just like NF and ST are in some ways. Maybe I don't know if that's perfect. That's a good example, but as far as the savoring thing goes, man, I eat over the trash can so often. Like I will just grab random crap from the kitchen. I will just eat over the trash can. I'm not a person that generally speaking would be doing that. But when I do consume, when I am reading and I'm studying, a lot of times it is it's kind of in a manic way. Like it's checking things from every single angle that I can think of. And once something interests me, it leads to something else that's tangential, right? So now I have to learn about this thing. And then once I get that thing, now I have permission to go back and look at what I was studying originally and see how that factors in. And if I can't figure that shit out, it's back to the fucking drawing board. I gotta check some more stuff out. And it's yeah, it is a little bit nasty. Does that sound about right to you?
It's based on your experience and your
Yeah.
specific animals, because everyone's obviously has different experiences. But I think the one thing that you said though that kind of gave me like a light bulb in my head was you said you don't look at social media because social media is a lot of SF kind of stuff. So your consumers NT. So if you're going to social media and it's like a bunch of trashy stuff, you don't want to consume that because that's the opposite of NT pretty much, right? So
Here's the weird thing though, man. I actually do like trashy shit. Like I will watch
okay,
trashy shit on TV too. So like I do like that. Um, I'll watch like I'll watch like Vanderpump Rules or something stupid like that occasionally if someone else is watching it, and I'll get totally into it, and I'll want to know like I'll want to know the story behind these
okay.
people.
So 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 you said if someone is watching it, so you're doing it as like a social
Yes.
thing. So would you do it by yourself though? Would you go in a room by
Hell
yourself?
no, no.
Exactly.
I
Then
don't.
then
I
then
don't. I don't consider the. I don't watch any. I don't do that kind of stuff. Like I don't watch things by myself really. Except, you know, honestly, man, big fan. I'll watch your stuff. I
Thanks.
watched. You know, yeah. I watched. I found you before Objective Personality. Funny enough,
Oh, sweet.
it did.
Awesome.
I did because I was trying to understand. I got the when I got my. I got. I was interested in this stuff for so long, and you know, I took back in college. I took the test and it got I think I got INTJ and then oh no I got INTP in college and then later on you know I was taking tests and they're all INTJ and you know I guess the joke is if you took the test right you get that I don't know
Oh, right, because you type yourself
so
upside down essentially.
I guess yeah right
Yeah, yeah.
so
Right.
yeah so I don't know why I brought that up I already forgot sorry
It's all good. It's all good, dude. Um, I think well, because your consume is NT, so if you're gonna consume by yourself, not in a social setting, kind of like what you do with the trashy
right.
stuff. Because with a trashy stuff, that's like you're using your FE, you're trying to, you know,
Yeah
you
I
know,
want to connect with people and so
connect people
yeah
emotionally.
exactly
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
do want to
yeah, yeah. So when you're by yourself, though, you're consuming to look for a solution. So either that could be your identity or something else, or a
yeah
project you're working on. So it's for a purpose of finding a solution. Hence the anti-consume, right? You know.
Yeah, yeah, we are all trying to. Well, I think some people have just, you know, yeah. I'm looking for an explanation for myself, and I'm looking for an explanation. I guess it's the DI, right? And and it's angry one too. It's angry, so it's always hungry too.
Yeah, I bet you're really aggressive when you actually get to it. You know, like
I can be aggressive. Yeah.
um. So let me know if this applies to you, okay? But this seems to apply to other people that I've asked who have blast above consume, but like more info dominant, obviously. Um, do you find it that it's easier to consume once you've blasted and you kind of got stumped, and then now you
Okay,
need
one more time. One more time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah, no worries. So do you find it easier to consume once you've used your blast first and you get stumped, and then after you get stumped, now for some weird reason you can go on a massive consume deep dive that wasn't even available at all for some weird ass reason was not available before you tried blasting. But the moment you try blasting even a little bit, you got stumped. You suddenly a whole world open, and now you're like the consume king of the world. But before that, you couldn't consume to save your life. Like you couldn't absorb anything,
Okay.
and it's
Okay.
so annoying.
I won't ever call myself consume king. It's consume lord.
Yeah,
But my no, the thing is, man, okay, so I will try like okay, it's a car thing, right? So if I'm working on a car thing, right, I want to be good at it. I don't you know it's a thing that freaks me out. So I'm gonna try it though. But I'm gonna hit my neighbor up. I'm gonna ask my neighbor, and then if he wants to do it now, then we're gonna go at it, right? And if not, I'm gonna start breaking things a little bit, and then but then I'm gonna be like, okay, I got to look this up, and I start looking things up on the internet, and I start getting frustrated really quick, and then I go back. I go actually back to blast. So it's like a back and forth, and then I consume it, and then I'm like, I don't know what it was I just read. So it's a frustrating back and forth process. Okay, I'll tell you this, man. So I put I put my truck up on jack stands, okay? Because I was replacing the starter, okay? So on the jack stands, there's little teeth that keep it up so that you know what I mean, and you got to have it equal on both. Well, you should have it equal on both sides.
okay.
So yeah, so I'll put it up on there, and then I have to like run my finger across each of the teeth so I can know that it's even on both sides because I can look at it and I can't tell if it's equal. I can't count it. I have to actually feel it with my fingers.
Right.
And then I go to the other side and do it. And then by that point, I forgot what it was I'm supposed to be doing. So I
Oh my
have to go
God.
back.
That's so annoying.
Yeah, it's memento, dude. It's like memento brain.
That is terrible.
Yeah,
Um, that movie was funny
yeah.
though.
I need a parent, dude. I need an adult around me, outside of this stuff.
You need a sensory adult to help you out. It's like
Yeah,
a
they
masculine
have a lot
sensory
of they have a lot of they have a lot of fun. They're like, just go aside and say silly things, and we'll help you. And, I break a lot of dishes.
Yeah, but dude, like all the successful people in the world has your function stack and has your sexual modality. You know,
Hmm.
like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk. They're all double feminine. They have your functions. You guys technically have the most broken stack.
You, you know what it is, man. I think you know what I think. I'm just guessing right now. I guess this is play basketball, whatever. Fuck it. I'm gonna guess that probably they get further because they were unassuming. They weren't so aggressive. They didn't get kicked out so quick. When you're aggressive, when you're biting at people, when you're making big waves, in the first place, you're scaring people, and so you're gonna get a lot of opposition. So I think if you come in a little bit soft, people don't necessarily see you coming.
Are you talking about those people or yourself?
Uh, um, maybe I'm talking about those people.
Yeah, I get that non-aggressive part because from a
But the
physicality
aggressive, you
standpoint,
get aggressive with your maybe with the internal stuff. So I'm aggressive internally.
right? Yeah, but that doesn't come out till you're successful already. By then you can get away with it. You know,
Maybe so. Okay.
yeah. Like all those billionaires, like I'm pretty sure they weren't aggressive to start, but then once they made it big, now they can be aggressive and people have to kiss their feet, right? Because at that point they're the overlords, so you can't do anything about it, right? Um. Anyways, but I do see what you're saying though with like the back and forth with the play blast. I think that's the right way to do it. Honestly, that's the healthy way to do it. You are supposed to not to be consuming all the time and not get nothing tried in reality. But then you're not supposed to just be executing nonstop too without checking in with the consume also, like those consume last people. So I think the way you're doing it is right. Like either blast. I think if you have blast and consume in the middle, I think you're okay. Either it doesn't matter the direction. You're gonna do that's a little bit different, but and the result will be the same. It's just which one went first. Because afterwards it's just like a back and forth seesaw.
Yeah.
But your last animal is where the interesting part comes in. ST sleep. Um,
Yeah.
there's a lot of dimensions to it, and I really want to break it down with you. Let's start with a big one. The very
Yeah.
big, the
Okay.
biggest. Let's go with the biggest one first. Competency, feeling competent. Okay. A lot of people I've interviewed with ST as a demon has shared with me. There's a part of them that has that feeling of incompetence, or at least afraid to come across as incompetent. Um, do you have that fear or no because you're an observer essentially?
Let me. I think I need to break this down out loud.
Okay.
So let's look at this here. We got I got introverted sensing, right? And introverted thinking, right? So those two together in sleep. Does it, man, it is so hard. I swear it is so hard for me to take what you said and break it down. It's just like there's so many other things happening in my brain. It's like there's interference going on, man.
I think the interference is feminine SI.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's like interference, dude. So ST sleep.
How about I give you some examples
Please, man.
to jumpstart stuff? Okay.
Please. And you know, man, I want to say, man, I'm sorry. It is like I actually broke this stuff down and I looked at it and I tried to analyze it, and then I walk away and it's just kind of gone. It's really frustrating.
That feminine SI is annoying. It's like
God, man.
it's so annoying. Um, yeah, that's terrible, man. Um,
I remember useless. I remember totally useless stuff, dude. Like I could tell you people in the 1989 Angels, like, but I couldn't tell you the useful shit. I can't tell you like I cannot uh, no one wants this, right? People,
no,
do they
no,
want this?
no.
It's garbage.
I got lucky in the gene pool. I got the masculine SI at the bottom, so it's functional. It's functional enough. So
It's like, dude, it's seriously like, okay, it's good because every day is kind of new in a
yeah,
way.
yeah,
In a
yeah. That's a
way,
good
in
thing.
a
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like, oh great, another problem. Oh great, that's a brand new problem. And I had a new problem, dude.
yeah.
But
Of course, you need that.
yeah, right. And so I again have to aggressively figure out what it is I don't know about
Yeah.
what's going on around me. They're like, dude, you already know the answer. I hit up like five people, and they're like, man, you hit me up about this last week. Oh yeah, yeah, sure. I totally know that, man.
Yeah, you then you just
So
look crazy.
ST sleep, back to it. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah,
Back to it. I'm sorry.
no, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so let's break it down. Let's look at all the different ways the ST manifests. Okay, maybe that'll
All
jumpstart
right.
stuff. Let's start with the ISTP because those guys are like the ST kings, right? Like David Shannon says, oh, the ST they can do anything, um, which is true because honestly, they just have to consume the manual and then they
Yeah.
follow it and then you can do it, right? And that's what it is. It's just like, especially if you have double masculine ST consume, oh my god, then you're like the god of like doing things because you look at the manual and now you know how to do it, right? Because that's the ST consume. And then because consume is your self-image externally, and everyone sees you as the doer, right? Everyone sees you as
Hmm.
that competent, hands-on person that can just do anything, right? And it's not just with like cars, like kind of like stereotype that those guys get, like all ISTPs are mechanic. Like a lot of actors are ISTP, so when they study the facts when it comes
Hmm.
to being a competent actor, they can still do it, right? So that definitely the ST consume is deadly, right? Because they're gathering it, and then they don't have to reinvent the wheel. They know what's working, and they just freaking do it, right? And then you have
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
people my type or my stack, right? ST blast. That one's easy to see. Hey, I come to you. I'm gonna the best example is cooking, right? If I go to you, it's like, hey, Joel, this is how you cook eggs, right? Step one, take the frying pan. Step two, put the oil. Step three, crack the eggs and put the eggs on top of the pan. Step four, or like put the salt, right? Like that's how you fry like a sunny side up egg, right? So it's like step one, step two. It's like super easy to see. Like one of the easiest ST to see, obviously, Um, and then the ST play is like those, ESFPs, those guys, ENTJs. So they like to collaborate with each other when doing things. So like for example, they're moving, right? So you got a fly there harassing you. So
No, no, my daughter came in, I think, to want to use the computer. But no, 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 we're good. I blocked
okay,
off this time.
okay. Um, so it's like like moving is a good example. Like those guys, for example, when they're like moving, for example, so they're like working together to move the stuff, or working together to construct something. So it's all like collaboration, and that's just like physical too. Obviously, when it comes to work, they might collaborate also. But it's
Hmm.
actually the doing aspects. If they're doing marketing, they're doing like the campaign together, like the actual like landing page and like all that stuff, the sales copy, and they're doing it together, right? Now for you have ST sleep. And the ST sleep can be dangerous if left unchecked. The sleep animal is a double-edged sword, right?
Right.
The problem with the ST sleep is it's very egotistical. Like the sleep animal is egotistical. Like
Right.
it's almost like my way is the best way. I don't want to know how anyone else does it. I'm gonna reinvent the wheel myself, and sometimes it works. Sometimes it does work, and those guys with the ST consumer, ST play will see what you're doing, and they'll be like, okay, we'll take yours. We'll just steal it. With those people with SE. and then just use it, or same as the SD Blast also. We'll just see what you're doing. I was like, I'm not gonna reinvent the freaking wheel, but you guys have to reinvent the wheel, right? So that's where the fear of incompetence comes in, because like you don't have the repetition to do the competent thing, because you're trying to re-engineer the whole thing from scratch, which is
I
super,
think what it is that I'm trying to reinvent the wheel to make it mine because I can't think of how to do it the other way.
right.
That's the best thing I can describe it as. So when people are like, "Well, this is the way you do it," and I'm like, "Nah, uh-uh. That's pretty that." So I can relate to that part if that's what you're saying.
Right.
If that's a if that's close to what you're kind of getting at, I do see that. It is it it's kind of like it's kind of defiant. It's kind of a defiant, like a it's kind of bratty in a way. It's like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it my way. We're not gonna. You do your things your way. It's not as good, but whatever.
Yeah, it's
But I'm
it's
not
it's
gonna fight you.
it's it's especially bad for the ESFJs, like those people with the same, even if they have like sleep last like you, like you won't get as triggered by it by the ESFJs would, because the TI is at the bottom, so they feel really stupid if they don't have the competence to reinvent the wheel and be a doer in their own original way, right? But because you have TI in a second, you're not gonna feel that stupid. It's the SI that you're blaming, like that you're gonna be looking at. It's like, what the hell's wrong with this stupid thing, this SI. So it's not as bad for you guys, but there's definitely gonna be a point of frustration, I think, with that SI, like because ultimately, I think like Jeff Bezos, for example, who has double activated ST sleep, it's
Hmm.
not gonna be as bad for him, because I think when something is higher in the animal stack, you're more likely to absorb things also externally. That's just from
Right.
what I've seen. Like, if you look at like Mr. Beast, for example, um, when he makes those like videos that every video he makes goes viral, right? And in order to make a video viral, it has to be SF, right? So he has double activated SF sleep. So, but he's open to taking in information from other content creators and integrating it into himself, because it's in a savior state. The SF is in a savior state. He'll still make an original creation, like those videos that he makes are original. Everyone's copying him now, right? But
Yeah.
he was open to 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 integrating pieces that he saw was good, while someone that has SF at the end are not willing to integrate. Like, for example, for me, I have SF last, right? I'm
Uh-huh.
not, obviously, when I learned that was what's happening, I'm like, okay, let's learn to integrate, because that's foolish. I'm never gonna be good at this last animal that I really want to get good at, if I'm so stubborn at like not integrating. So let's learn to integrate, right? So for you, yours is ST, so it's like doing, it's like engineering, building a prototype, whatever, you
It's
know.
really fun though. Like that honestly, it's like it's what I strive to do. I am always wanting to. So okay, I have something that I'm working on currently, and I want to bring it. I want to bring it out to public,
Right.
right? So it is a project that has, it's like this has it has the SF, I think, and then but the ST, for me, is the fun part, right? That's actually the fun part. I want to figure out every conceivable um every conceivable aspect of the thing, so that I have an answer. I want to have an answer to every part of it, and see it come out fully formed. And I am trying to I'm kind of going, forcing myself at this point of my life. I'm almost 40. I'm going to be 40 in a couple months. And at this time of my life, I guess I'm working backward. So I'm trying to focus a lot on sleep. Um, and that part of it um, is hunkering down, going into the going into the bomb shelter, and closing the doors, locking it, and then actually getting down to business. And it's hard because it feels, at times it feels selfish.
Right.
But yeah, that is my focus right now. But it is it is really difficult, um, because there are so many other things going on in my life at the same time.
Right.
You know, I it almost seems, to be honest with you, it almost seems like we've like uh I was watching one of the videos that you had, and I remember Shane was talking about, he's the guy, he's ESTP, or
Right.
he thinks he might be an ISTJ, or whatever. And
Right.
I can absolutely relate to this. I can see, that it seems like, okay, it seems kind of like we're doing this, right? Like, this is the one that you are most of the time, but then you have this other thing that's going to, and it's coming back, and it's going out, and it's coming. This is the best way I can explain it. So let's say this is the play right here, and then this is the sleep.
Okay.
But I'm noticing it hitting. I'm noticing it when it hits. I feel like it's the thing in charge. You know what I mean? Because it's something that I'm not used to all the time. And again, that's very woo woo and hard to explain. Just like everything else, every other stupid thing I've been trying to say this whole time, it's just like gas, and it's like, and it's crazy, man. Because as you're talking, I'm trying, to absorb it, but like I said, man, there's just this noise in it. It could be just a chemical thing, you know. It could just be a chemical thing in my brain that's messed up.
Yeah.
But it requires a lot of me to actually take that time, take that sleep processing time. And I don't always, I don't, man, you know what I wonder? I wonder if some of us are actually just literally doing it when we're sleeping. Maybe it's not a conscious thing, man. I have a lot of theories about sleep. I don't think that sleep is just for the body and it's just for the self. I think that when we sleep, we are actually affecting the community. Um, I think that we are required to sleep, because when we do so, we are actually uploading. I think that's when we're giving to each other, whether or not we know it. It's just like that. Like they talk about the Mandela effect, right? So all these people all of a sudden think that Nelson Mandela is dead, right? All these people thought it was called the Berenstain Bears, but it was always, or Berenstein Bears, but it was always the Berenstain Bears, right?
Right.
There are these like glitches or something. And maybe at some point it's like, oh, that's just bad code that got in. So I'm thinking that some of the sleep for many of us is actually happening when we're sleeping, because we are so consumed the rest of the day with just getting shit done. And I think that if you literally are not sleeping, then you're going to be defective, and you're not going to be on the same update as everyone else.
Right. Okay.
Kind
That's
of
an
left field, I
interesting,
know.
yeah, that's an interesting theory on what's going on with the sleep thing. I mean, even when like with science though, like they do say that sleep also recovers your emotional state too. So it's like when you're actually
Right.
sleeping. So it's definitely not just the body. It's like a lot of things, right? Your mind as well.
It's a lot of things we can't see, man. There's all the wavelengths we can't see. You know,
Yeah.
there's just so much. And as I started out, the internet was really in its infancy when I was growing up, and so I remember everything very differently as a kid. Everything was very different than it is for kids now. And so I can't imagine what it's like if I, as a human being, would all of a sudden become something like a moth, you know, that can see all these extra wavelengths, right? Or some other kind of animal that is getting all this other sensory information, you know. So I'm willing to go from there and suggest that not only not it's not just the wavelengths that we're missing out, but there are other connections that we are having with one another, and we are all sharing it. I think because we were at one point all one. You know, we were all at one point, we were one in some way, and then we fractured. Maybe it was for safety. You know, maybe for safety you have to have this variation. Maybe you have to have all these different types. Because think about it, man. If you had all people that were similar types and a giant fly swatter comes down, everyone's done. They're all gone. You have to have the variation. But the thing that is holding us together is that collective unconscious. That is what's keeping us together as the whole. All right. So
That sounds very Matrix like the collective unconscious.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
I
Yeah.
mean, the person that invented Matrix was similar type as you, so you know, like
I think
NEFP,
she's,
right?
dude. I think she's actually the exact same type, dude. That movie was, dude. That movie and like Fight Club were like two of the most important movies growing up. You
Right.
know.
For
I don't
you,
know if it was like that for you. Was it like that for you too, or what were the movies for you that were the most important?
geez, I don't know. I didn't. I saw. I'm in the same age as you, by the way. But I saw the Matrix when I was older. It was an important movie for sure.
Okay.
But I didn't watch it when it came out. I watched it like 15 years later or something. Something ridiculous. Demon Consume, man.
Really? I
Demon
never saw.
Consume.
Yeah, yeah,
Demon Consume. So, um, geez, important movies. I think Lion King was one of my favorite movies.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think that one related to me as an EP because freaking Simba was irresponsible. He just wanted to hang out in the woods with his buddies, and then
Yeah.
like Nala comes like, hey, you need to go back to Pride Land and like save everyone. He's like, I'm happy here. He's like, no, you gotta
The
take
hero's journey
responsibility.
right there.
What's that?
I guess it's kind of like the hero's journey, right?
Yeah, but it's also like an EP story where like you're an EP, you don't want to like you kind of just want to be free, right? So, he was already free. Why would he want to go back and you know, like control people essentially? That's what you are when you're a king, right? You're managing people. So why would you want to do that, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of like Simba's story, right? So for me that related. The other one movie that really related to me was Thor, the first one. I don't know if you've seen that
Okay.
one.
Oh yeah, I
Um
love that one. The best part of that movie is when he smashes the glass. That's one of my favorites. I like that one.
the glass or the rainbow thing? Like which one are you talking about?
Oh, when he's in the restaurant, right? And
Oh, more when he goes more.
another
Another, yeah,
another
yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, that movie was in my eyes it was perfect. But I like that
Yeah.
hero's journey a lot in that movie because like at the start he was like an arrogant guy. He wanted to be king right away, and then he got banished obviously to Earth, right? And then at the end of the movie, he told his dad, "It's like, okay, I'm not ready to be king," and the dad's like, "You're now ready." Because he has humility, right? So I thought that was like really good. I thought that was like I almost felt it was like blast over consume because you're like go 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 and sleep last, not processing, you know, things at a deeper level.
You know what's funny now I feel now that we're talking like this, it's actually I think I was having a trouble with just trying to be in the rigidity of talking about these functions in
Yeah,
such a straightforward way. Now we're talking like this. I think I can think about it a little better. And this SF blast, I think something that you said right now, we're talking about what you experienced, it did strike a chord with me, and it reminded me that I get it like with my daughter a lot. We'll be watching. So we're talking about Marvel movies, okay?
sure.
With we had a deal, right? We were watching. I'll watch like several of her. She loves this anime show called JoJo, right? I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but she loves this show, and so we'll watch a few of those, and then we'll watch a Marvel. And I'm a big into comic books. I've always like loved comic books. I collect. I stopped collecting now because it was, I couldn't really justify it. I couldn't really justify it. But um, when we're watching the movies or whatever, I'm constantly asking her, and maybe this is play, I don't know, but I think it's blast because in the end, I'm trying to get across to her, what is the message here? What are we learning? What
Right.
is the underlying message? With Captain America or with Thor, is it about just blindly listening to the people in front of you? No, that's not what Captain America is about.
Right.
Captain America's not about that at all. And neither should be America as a whole, right? It's not
Right.
about just blindly following people. That's not American. And,
Right.
and so in that way, I get a little bit preachy. So I will do that. And I think that is now that we're getting to this, I think that is where play and blast for me. where those two are linked up. It has to do with I guess shooting my beliefs into someone, maybe a little bit covertly. So you get them to say it, right? That's the only way you ever get someone to get on the same page, right? Is to get them to say it first.
I see. Manipulate them to say it first. SF blast.
Man, we should just cut out the first like 15 minutes and just go from I think we
Yeah.
got it now.
Um, I think also when I was talking about like when I started sharing about like what I like about the Thor or the Thor
Yeah,
movie and stuff, I think that's when your NF play got activated and suddenly things became clear because that's the language you speak, right? So
it is.
yeah.
I
Um
speak Thor. I speak Asgardian, dude. So
yeah, you did. That's
let's
Asgard.
continue. Hey, Kendrick, from
Yeah.
the rest of the rest of the conversation, I'm controlling now. The rest of the conversation, we have to speak Asgardian. Okay? No, we're not going to do that. It's too much work. Fuck it.
Yeah.
All right.
Asgardian's your code word for NF, I guess. Anyways, sorry, last question, dude. We gotta wrap this up because I gotta run. SITI. I wanted to ask about the health aspect of it. So ST sleep is also someone in the community, Dion. He's the one that first coined it. Is having a body that works. Okay.
Mm,
SI is the body and TI is works, right? So,
right.
and in order to have a body that works, you need to have health routines in place to make sure your body's working at the optimal level. So, an exercise routine, nutritional routine, you know, sleeping routine, and also for your mental health, you know, whether that's seeing a psychologist or meditating, whatever, journaling, whatever it is your method is. So,
Mm-hmm.
can you share with me if you have any? And you did mention at the start of the interview that routine is important to you. Um, can you share with me what your a body that works routine is for those four aspects for you personally? And if you don't have one, that's cool. Also, share why you don't have one and why it's not it's missing for you. You know.
No. I do actually have a routine. I
Okay.
have a routine. So it is a personal routine that I stick to because I have found that when I do not have it, things go very haywire. So um, I wake up every day at 2:35 a.m. And I go to sleep practically the same time of night. I go to sleep about 8 o'clock. It's not a ton of sleep, but it is consistent. So that is a grounding thing. And then in the morning, it's funny. I used to actually every morning because I was wanting to save money too. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a cereal. I'm just going to put peanut butter inside, and then it'll hold me through the whole day. And at the time, I was also smoking, so I was having the peanut butter and I was smoking, and then my cholesterol started getting high. I found out later on. I'm like, oh crap, I don't know if it was the peanut butter or the smoking. So I had to kind of, I actually quit smoking. I smoked from when I was 12 until I was like whatever it was, 38, something like that, 37, 38. I don't know. I mean, I can tell you the date, but I don't know how old I was. But that was a way of taking control of myself. And when I did that, when I quit smoking, um, and also I quit drinking for several years too. When I took control of those things, it told me, it allowed me to have power over myself. And I said, you know what? I may get taken out due to genetics. I may get taken out, but it's not going to be because of something. It wasn't because I wasn't trying. So I take it very seriously to have a, a routine like that. I just recently started therapy again within the past couple weeks because I'm definitely I'm going through midlife, and or at least my body thinks it is. I don't know, but it's it, it is a difficult it is difficult to start, but I think once you make it simple and workable, it's not too bad. So I do have a workout routine. It's not good. Um, I know it's not, but I'm trying to slowly implement other things. So I work out. I will do it every Tuesday. I will do it at the same time, and I set aside time, and I try to be, I try not to be forceful, but I try to be strict and say, hey, I'm doing this right now, and I don't go out to do it. I don't want to touch the gym equipment that other people. It's weird to me to kind of be around people, seeing people sweat, the smells and stuff. It's very weird. And then I'll look at someone, I'll see like deodorant on the armpit hair, and then I feel weird. It's
That's
just
your SI right there.
It's just, and then I'm like, you know what? People, I feel like people are looking at it's craziness, dude. It's just cuckoo neurotic shit. So I will always find systems at home so that I don't have to, you know what I mean? So I can avoid that chaos out there.
Yeah, I work in the fitness industry for many years before I switched careers, right? So I
You're
think
not doing it anymore?
I I teach spin. That's pretty much it nowadays. Like just
Okay.
yeah, I just switch career. I technically have one more client left for personal training, but I don't see him that often. Like once every 2 weeks maybe. But I it's in the tail end of it now. But I think the most annoying people in a gym, no offense, someone's probably gonna get offended by me saying this, but I don't care.
Don't do it.
It's those people with SEFE. Oh my god, they're the worst in the gym. The FE's like grunting, especially with the masculine FE. And you have to share your feelings, so everyone has to know like what you're feeling when you're lifting weights, like and then because it's SE, it's not like SI is like more careful with the stuff, right? It's SE, they're like smashing the weights after like they do it, boom, and then we're doing and one of them will have like the nerve to ask you to spot them on the bench press. I don't want to spot them if they're SEFE. You know why? Because they're gonna have a fountain of on their mouth when they're like pushing that weight. Do you want me to? Do you expect me to protect you? I don't want to get that thing on my face when I'm trying to prevent the bench press from crushing you. That's gross, man. I talk obviously, but
dude, I don't think I could do it. The idea of asking someone to spot me even is so weird to me. I have like, I feel weird. It's just like, hey, I know it's probably like an unwritten rule. Like people, hey, yeah, I'll go help you, right? That's normal. But to me, like thinking about going out and turn, I don't know I don't know how it works there, man. So I don't know. You just like shout. You're like, hey guys, can someone give me a hand here? What do you do? Or do you have a buddy you go with?
It's an SE thing, I think. Because they like to like touch each other and stuff. It's like it's not personal, right? There's no such thing as personal space with SE, right? So, like for me with SI, I'm super territorial, right? Like if there's like a station I want to use, I'm gonna put my weight on top of it so that people know someone's on it. And if I see someone coming near, I'm like, hey, I'm using that. Like it's like because it's a masculine SI, so it's territorial, right? So
I'm with you on that, man.
Yeah, but
I don't know about me being masculine, but I do that too. So I lay claim to areas.
Yeah,
definitely. But not out there. I wouldn't do it in a gym because I don't know. It's just I tried and then it just immediately not.
It's I think it's okay to go to a gym that is not busy because they do exist. So there's like gyms where it's like not so busy, not that many people. The people that go there tend to be clean, and then there's like a sense of community and stuff. So it is nice to find the right gym. Like I work in the industry for 10 years, so I've worked at all the fitness facility pretty much near my location. So the only place I work out right now is that place that I kind of just described, where it's like it's on a clean side. We don't have as many weird people that's has a fountain in their mouth and they're doing the bench press.
Getting the fountain.
They already they probably left already because someone reprimanded them for being not tidy or clean.
Ooh, how do you do that? That's awkward, man. That's awkward. How do you like? I don't even know how you would do that. You'd say, "Hey, dude, you're kind of just gross. Like, go be gross at home," or you know.
I mean, you do it in a subtle way to just make them feel upset, but because you're using the SI policy to protect you, so you're like, hey, sorry, we don't have chalk in this gym. A lot of those people that do that stuff, they like to use chalk, right? So like we don't accept chalk in this gym, so unfortunately, you can't bring the chalk here, and they don't want to work out. They don't want to work out without their chalk, so they'll leave. So
that's clever.
So there's like a pattern of like certain people that like do this kind of stuff. Also like using chalk. The people with the spray in their mouth, they like to use chalk.
I like
So you
this.
can
Just
use the
make it
SI
happen.
you can use the SI to get rid of them. I know it sounds horrible, but whatever, man. We're gonna protect the personal space, right? So
No, 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 no. When you can get SI to work for you, that's the place you want to be. I'm trying really hard to make it work for me. SI. Listen, man, SI and me. I want to be best friends with SI. I
yeah,
want to get married to SI because I
yeah,
want to have memories and not just be a floating fucking head, dude.
right.
I want to have memories. It's the SE in me that we just I need my SE people to be there, because otherwise, geez. But but yeah, it's a it's really cool talking about this stuff, man.
All right, man. Let's wrap it up here. So Joel, thanks for coming out and causing a little bit of chaos with me in this interview. Lots of chaos for sure, which is good. I want people to see what it's like when um two play blasts, EPs get in the same room and start
God,
talking. I think that the big thing I noticed about you though is your info dominant. So you'll throw in some play goofiness, but then you'll reel it back to the info. So I do see
yeah,
you doing that. Like
yeah. I didn't see that at first, but I do see that now too. I do see
yeah,
that now.
yeah, and I totally get it, man. Because sometimes when the talk the conversation starts lagging, you need a play to infuse energy to it, and then you can go back to the info, right? So it's more like a tool to infuse energy at like a lot because those play last people, they're also info dominant, right? But because it's so Tim Ferriss, for example, I don't know if you've listened to his podcast
I
before.
do know. I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, his podcast is so boring, right? Like his information is good, but
Yeah,
it's so dry and boring because he's play last. There's like nothing infusing energy to it, right? So no
yeah, yeah,
offense to play
yeah.
last people.
Maybe he just needs to learn a rhythm. He just needs to get some kind of rhythm down. But you know what? Who am I going to be to tell Tim Ferriss what to do? This guy is insanely successful at what he does.
Exactly right. Yeah, he's more successful than both
So
of us. So yeah.
yeah, yeah,
All
he's
right,
got
dude.
people that are using it.
All right, let's wrap it up here. So yeah, take care, man. Peace out, and I'll see you around the group.
Thank you, Kendrick.